On Thanksgiving, my grandparents, Nana and Bump, would drive down from Presque Isle to Branch Lake in Ellsworth. And Bump would drive them in his AMC four-wheel drive station wagon because he was always prepared for bad weather, and you never knew when it was going to snow. And it probably already been snowing up in Presque Isle, and he wanted to make sure that Nana was going to be safe. And when they'd arrive, generally things would start to get very loud, because if you know Presque Isle, you know that anyone from there talks a little bit louder because it's like they're shouting across a potato field. Hey, how are you, Andy? Are you the guy that butted the bull off the bridge and fought the owl in the snowstorm and you couldn't see the sun for 80 days because of all the feathers? You get the idea. And they'd come down, and Nana would bring about 40 pies and her famous popcorn balls that were sort of like a caramel ball that would take the filling right out of your teeth anytime you chew on it. And they were already stale. And sometimes during Christmas, when they'd come down for Christmas, we'd still have some kicking around, and we'd eat them just to make her happy because, that was just what we did. So this one Thanksgiving that they came down, we all sat around the table and told stories, and Bump would get very loud as usual, and he had a mouth, and he would start to swear when he got excited, and every time he swore, Nana would say, "John, don't talk like that in front of the children." And he'd kind of look and smile and say, "Yes, Mother," something to that effect. So that one Thanksgiving that I remember, we'd all finished eating dinner and probably moved on to pie, and then I think we were watching a movie or something, and Nana and Bump said they were tired and they were going to go to bed. And we were in Branch Lake in Ellsworth. We had 3 bedrooms in the upstairs. One was my brother's, one was my other brother Jad, and then my sister Missy. And my mom and my stepfather slept in the loft, and I slept in the basement, in a bedroom down there. And when Nana and Bump would come to visit us, they would sleep in Missy's room because she had this beautiful brass bed, and that was sort of like Missy gave them her room because that was really the best place for them to sleep. I mean, they couldn't sleep in the loft because they probably couldn't get up the ladder to get up there. They couldn't sleep in my room for sure because nobody would ever want to go down there. So they slept in Missy's room. And when they went to bed on that Thanksgiving night, we were all downstairs watching a movie, and all of a sudden we heard this very loud bang. Helen! John! Jesus Christ! David Dow, can't you get a decent bed? I mean, holy Gerard! This thing just, Christ! What are we gonna do with that? Goddamn, take it right to the dump tomorrow is what we're gonna do. John, don't talk like that while the children are here. Yes, Mother, he would say. Well, the next morning, when they came down for breakfast, I think it was Jad who broached the subject. He said, "What was all that racket up there?" And Bump looked at us and he said, "Well, Jad, me lad, I was winding it to Nana and Missy's bed broke." Well, there was a silence, and everyone, of course, was laughing. He goes, "Yep, I tell you, Bump's got to get it when he can get it. He doesn't get it up all the time, John, don't talk like that in front of the children." Nana turned a little red, and she had a little glint in her eye herself, a little smile. And Bump continued. He said, "But Jesus Christ, that bed ain't worth a pot to piss in. We ought to take that right to the dump today." "John, don't talk like that in front of the children." And that, my friends, is the story of how Nana and Bump broke Missy's bed. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.